A skill you'll learn is how to put on your scuba kit at the surface. This is a common part of small boat entries, but you may do this from almost any size vessel, from docks and other situations. With your equipment fully assembled, go through your pre-dive safety check, even though you're not wearing it. Make sure it will float. You may need to put your weights in after you get into it. If you're not using a weight-integrated BCD, you'll put your weights on after you have your dive kit on. Don't enter the water without a BCD while wearing your scuba weight system. When ready, put your gear in the water, on a line if you won't get in right away, or your buddy can hand it to you after you enter. Enter using a suitable technique, like the controlled seated entry. For this entry, sit like this and put both hands on the deck, like this. Pivot onto your hands and lower yourself in, like this. Now, unbuckle the waistband, hold your kit upright and slip into it. It may help to have just enough air in the BCD so it barely floats. Another technique is to sit on your rig, like this. Stick your arms in and then slip forward so it rides up into place. After it's on, secure and adjust the harness. Then put on your weight system if it was too heavy to put on before. Once your buddy's in his kit, finish the F step, final check of the pre-dive safety check to be sure all straps are secure and that you didn't accidentally trap any hoses. You can also use the controlled seated entry while wearing scuba. Partially inflate your BCD and breathe from your regulator as you would on any entry. Be sure the bottom of your cylinder has cleared the platform edge before you lower yourself into the water. You may have to help a buddy who's tired or who has a cramp or other problem that makes swimming difficult. First, be sure you're both buoyant. Use the cylinder valve toe for short distance tows, like this. For longer distances, the tired diver push lets you see where you're going. Put the diver's feet on your shoulders and your hands on his knees, like this, and swim at a slow, steady pace. This skill combines your neutral buoyancy skill with descending, swimming and ascending just as you will in open water. You'll pretend that the bottom or an area is fragile, like coral, and avoid contact with it. When ready, make a 5-point descent with your buddy using a line or other references as a visual reference only. Control your descent by controlling your buoyancy so that you stop and achieve neutral buoyancy about 1 to 1.2 meters or 3 to 4 feet above the bottom. Then, control your buoyancy and swim without touching the bottom. Control your movements, not just your buoyancy. Learn to only make contact with something when you intend to. Return to the reference line and make a 5-point ascent using it as a visual reference only, again without touching the bottom. If you lost your mask and couldn't recover it, you'd have to end the dive without it. The no-mask swim lets you practice this. Remove your mask and make buddy contact. Keep your eyes open if you can, but close them if you're wearing contacts. Swim at least 15 meters or 50 feet, equalizing your ears and controlling your buoyancy with your buddy assisting. Concentrate on breathing through your mouth. If you get a little water in your nose, exhale through it. After completing the swim, replace and clear your mask. In Section 3, you learn that you can breathe from a free-flowing regulator. To simulate a free flow, you or your instructor will depress the purge button. Remember to hold the mouthpiece against your lips, like this. Don't seal your mouth on it, but you can insert one side if it helps. Let the excess air escape as you sip the air you need from the flow. After practicing, check your SPG. You may be surprised at how much air you used. This shows that it's important to start your ascent promptly when breathing from a free-flowing regulator. If you have to disconnect your low-pressure inflator, you can orally inflate your BCD underwater to control your buoyancy. Hold the inflator or deflator in your left hand like this. Take a breath from your regulator, then blow a third to half your breath into your BCD, like this, and save enough to clear your regulator. Go back to your regulator, then repeat the process if you need more buoyancy. Don't forget, blow bubbles when the regulator's out of your mouth. After establishing neutral buoyancy, hover for 60 seconds using breath control and making small adjustments as needed. Skin diving, breath hold diving without scuba, lets you scout an area or explore shallow water without wasting scuba air. You can also skin dive where scuba diving isn't available. Proper breathing helps you hold your breath longer. Relax and breathe from your diaphragm. The practice of hyperventilation, breathing deeply and/or rapidly before holding your breath, was once common, but is no longer preferred because if not done properly, it may cause you to lose consciousness underwater, which can cause drowning. Relaxed diaphragm breathing will help you hold your breath longer. When you return to the surface after a breath hold dive, breathe normally from your diaphragm. A strong exhalation after surfacing from a long breath hold can cause you to become faint. Relax for several minutes while your body oxygen and carbon dioxide levels return to normal. If you feel dizzy or lightheaded, or feel tingling in your hands, arms, or feet, stop diving down. Rest. Relax and breathe at the surface until you fully recover. Use a head-first surface dive, sometimes called a duck dive, to get underwater quickly. Swim forward breathing relaxed from your diaphragm, then hold a breath and bend forward, like this. See how you lift your legs as straight and high as you can? Their weight pushes you down efficiently. Swim downward, equalizing as you've already learned. Relax and explore. With practice, you may be surprised how long you can stay on one breath. Notice that your buddy stays up while you're down. Take turns, one up, one down. That way, if someone needs help, the buddy comes down to assist with a fresh breath. When you feel the urge to breathe, look up, reach up, and turn so you can see as you come up. While looking up, exhale as you go through the last meter or few feet of water. Keep exhaling as you roll forward to a swimming position, and your snorkel should be nearly clear of water. If not, use the blast method you learned earlier. Some divers prefer the blast method in any case. Sometimes you take your kit off in the water to exit. Inflate your BCD, then remove and hand up your weights. Switch to your snorkel, then release your harness and slip out of your rig. It may help to only inflate the BCD enough for your rig to float. Keep all your other gear in place. Then hand up your kit or tie it to a line. If you're exiting without a ladder, like onto a small boat or low dock, push up with your arms and kick to raise yourself. Twist into a seated position like this. Or lower yourself onto your chest and roll over like this. Once out, lift your kit from the water.